Okay, we have 7 electoral votes. We're at number 4 now. Why do we have 7?
Population land.
That's,
2 per senator and 1 for each House of Representatives.
say that again, Larry.
2 per senator plus 1 for each House of Representatives.
States are allocated electoral votes equal to the number of congressional folks in Washington we have. Every state has how many senators? 2. Let's come back to that as to why we have 2. Every state in the union has 2 senators. The Senate in D.C. has 100 people in it. Some of them you know about, some of you probably never heard before. There's certain ones that get their faces on cameras all the time. But every state has 2 senators. California has 2, Oregon has 2, Delaware has 2, Wyoming has 2. We'll come back to that in a second. So 2 of our 7 electoral votes come from those senators. Or come because of those senators, I should say. Just so you know, the senators are not those who cast their votes for president. But we get the same number of votes as we have senators and representatives. Here in Central Oregon, who is our representative?
Kate Brown.
Greg Walden. Kate Brown is our governor. Greg Walden is our representative. He's one. If you're up in Portland, you can have Peter DeFazio. You can have Earl Blumenauer. You can have the other 2 who I never remember. One of them's got another Italian last name. I'm totally drawing a blank. And then there's the lady. We have 5 representatives. California has 53. Delaware has 1. Wyoming has 1. How are representatives assigned? Ellie, you said it earlier. By population. The more people in your state, the more representatives your state has in Congress. We have 5, so in total we have 7. 2 senators, 5 reps. Is this fair so far? We got this, my friends? Thank you, Matthias. Appreciate that comment. All right, now, the question I have is... Shoot, I just lost that question. Shit, it was right there. It was a good one, too. Damn, sorry. Sorry, Jessica. Okay, I'll come back to it. Oh, no, there it was. Why do we have the Senate and the House? Why does the House of Representatives depend on how many people are in your state, and the Senate not depend on how many people are in your state? Why did the founders of this country create the Senate and the House? It's a government question more than a math question, but it's kind of a math question too.
Checks and balances.
Say that again.
The checks and balances.
That's very, very good, the checks and balances system. Here's the problem. California has 53 reps. Oregon has 5. That means, depending on how California goes, California can push Oregon around in the House of Representatives because it's got 10 times as many people in the House as Oregon does. Now, in reality, Oregon and California kind of vote the same way for the large parts. But you can see how that would work against smaller states. The House of Representatives works against smaller states because smaller states usually have 1 or 2 reps. Larger states like California, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, they have a lot more reps. And larger states tend to lean a certain way. So the Senate was created to be a balance on that. Every state gets the same value in the Senate, 2 votes per. So California gets 2, Oregon gets 2, Wyoming gets 2, Alaska gets 2. Does that kind of make sense? And the Senate, if you look at how generally speaking procedures go through, a lot of times they go from the House to the Senate. So even if something gets passed through the House, maybe the big states push something through, the Senate can still sit back and go, you know what, we're gonna look at that more carefully and more equally based on not population, but on ideology. Kind of make sense? Okay, we got 7 because we got 2 senators and 5 reps. Thank you. Population of Oregon, people.
4.19.
There we go. About 4.1 million people. Quite a few people. Thank you. What's up, Matthias?
I got 4.25.
Yeah.
Totally fine. It depends on what census they're drawing from. So first of all, nobody knows exactly how many people are in the state. If you want to make it easy, let's just call it 4 million. If you want to make life easy, just call it 4 million people. I can live with that. Whatever number you got, it depends on what census they're drawing from. And it's going to change again next year because the 2020 census is coming down the pike, which means there'll be even more people in the state, most likely. So whatever number you got is great. Use that number and do number 7. Hopefully number 7 wasn't that bad, right? Number 7 was pretty simple. You just took your population and put it in the numerator and put it over 7 electoral votes in the denominator. So I'm gonna do it on the board with you. And then you divide it? Because when you divide it, guess what you get? The answer for number 8. Yes, absolutely, Nika. I love that you did that. Let me zoom this in so we can see it better. Yeah, so Nika just asked a very, very good question. So I'm just gonna write 4 million on mine, okay? Is that okay? So for my number 7, I would put 4 million people divided over 7 electoral votes. And then Nika said, do we then divide? And the answer is yes, you do then divide. You divide 4 by 7. When you divide 4 million, and it might be helpful if you want to actually write it out as 4 million. 4 million people divided by 7 electoral votes. My next question was, please do the division and make the denominator equal to 1. So I think the easiest thing to do is just to simply divide 4 million by 7, or 4.19 million by 7, or 4.25 million by 7. How many people per electoral vote do you get, my friends?
About 600,000.
600,000? About 600,000 people per electoral vote. About 600,000 people per electoral vote. Thank you. And your number is going to be different depending on what number you started with. So whatever number you have is fine. I'm just saying, depending on what census and what population value that your source used, you're going to get a slightly different answer. Jennifer, is that okay? You buying this? You buying this? Okay, I want to make sure everybody's happy before we... Okay, everybody with me so far? You at peace with this? Okay. So let's make sure I want you to understand why I had you do that last math. Oregon gets 7 electoral votes. There are a hell of a lot more than 7 people in the state. I'm looking for an equivalence between us and the actual votes that put the president in the White House. Does that make sense? Because our popular vote kind of does, but electoral votes definitely do. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to find the equivalence between those of us in the population of Oregon and the votes that actually put the president in the White House. So 600,000 of us in Oregon are equal to 1 of those electoral votes. Fair enough so far? Okay, thank you, my friends. That's all I'm looking for. Okay, good. Next page. All right, all right. Now, what I want you to do now is you got your computers open. We're going to crack open a spreadsheet. Now, the spreadsheet, page number 1, is actually on your class's webpage. I'm going to show you how to get to it. So, get to here. Oh, you can't see that. Hang on. Get to here first. And then once you're here, go down to the online course information, format 58. You have to go here every once in a blue moon, not very often. We'll do it more in 98. And then, once you're here, find the Excel spreadsheet to help with the electoral vote lab. Right here. Go ahead, Nika.
You look like the guy off Blue's Clues.
Blues
Yeah.
You
Clues.
look like young Jimmy Fallon.
Look at Jimmy Fallon?
Young Jimmy
Young
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah.
I haven't been called young in a long time, Jack. Automatic A.
Wait.
Okay, grab your Excel spreadsheet to have electoral vote lab. Grab that puppy dog right there. Open her up.
Hold on.
What you see here. What you see. Everybody finding it?
No. Can you go? What was the website?
Stipend bundle.
Find it. Look me up on the COCC site. How do you find your other instructors on the COCC site?
They send us a
What's my last name?
rule. Like the
I thought it was
rule.
badass. Rules. Okay. Rule. Oh, yes. Look me up. Find my site. There it is right there, Amber. I'm looking at it. Math 58. Online course information. Boom.
Excel
Yes.
spreadsheet with.
Yes. Find me. There I am. There's that good-looking guy. Actually, go back to that other page. Go back to the other page. You were on it. You got it somehow. Go find me
Is this
again.
the one?
Yes.
Oh, I downloaded it.
There I am.
That's
Go to
not-
the web page. Go over there. Yes. And then go find my. Yes. You found it.
It's online.
An Excel spreadsheet to help with the electoral vote lab.
Is that the right one?
It doesn't look like. You may have gotten the other one, Nelly. Yeah, you got the other one. You're doing the second one we're going to do on Thursday. So close that one and open the one up here.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I was just confused.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
You should put part 1 and part 2 on it.
Part 1 and part 2. Well, I mean, this is the only one that says electoral votes. So, okay, let me get so everybody can see this, so you can see this at home. Everybody find it? We're there. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Now,
Oh.
I want to make sure make sure you can see what you're looking at here. I've listed every state in order, alphabetical order, plus the District of Columbia. How many electoral votes that state gets. So Alabama gets 9, Alaska gets 3, Arizona gets 11, and so forth and so on. DC also gets 1, even though it's not a state. District of Columbia also gets 1, even though it's not a state. And then if you scroll down, you'll find Oregon. There's Oregon 7, okay? What you'll also notice is there's the population I'm using when I made this spreadsheet about a year ago. So you can see my population's a little bit different than y'all's population. So I heard 4.19, 4.25, mine's about closer to 4.1. So nonetheless, it's still valid. We can still use it. The math is going to be the same. Now what I want you to take a look at is, I want you to make sure that you're reading this correctly. Let me get another copy of that lab. Here we go. Look at number 9. It says, notice the states, plus Washington, D.C., are in the column marked with a letter B above it. So you look up here. Here's all the states. When you're in Excel, columns are marked with letters, rows are marked with numbers. We'll deal with that more in a second. What is in column C? Go ahead and write that as your answer for number 9. And then what is given in column D? Give that as your answer for number 10. What are the numbers in number 9? Give that as your answer for C. And what are your numbers in 10? Excuse me. What are your numbers in C? Give that as your answer for 9. What are your numbers in D? Give that for your answer for 10. Yes, Jonah?
Can you just point out, I forget, what are the swing states? They
Oh,
talk
shit.
about those, right?
Michigan, I don't remember, I have to Google it. Florida,
Yeah, I
they're the ones that can go either Ohio, maybe Colorado. You'd have to Google it for me, brother. Yeah, I don't remember. There's like 10 of them, right?
But that has to do with their proportion, right?
Not just that, but also like California is not a swing state. But California has a huge number of electoral votes. But that's because the Democratic candidate can pretty much guarantee California's going to vote for him. And New York. But then what happened in the last election, Pennsylvania reversed course for the first time in 30 years and voted Republican. They haven't done that since Reagan was elected. So that's not Pennsylvania is not usually considered a swing state, but maybe it is now because of that. I don't know the answer. But I know like Florida's a big one, Michigan, I believe, Ohio. But again, you have to Google it because I don't remember off memory.
Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, Nevada, New Hampshire, North Carolina,
Give-
Pennsylvania, Virginia, Wisconsin.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so Pennsylvania is one. Boom. There we go. Pennsylvania's being called one. Yes, Jenna.
So, I wrote that stuff down there.
That's fine.
Do I need to put the numbers on too?
Numbers of what?
Well, you're saying write down the numbers.
No, I said, what are those numbers? And you answered what they are. The first one is the electoral votes. The second one is the population. It sounds like we've gotten numbers 9 and 10 answered. So in number 9, the column C gives us how many electoral votes each state has. And then column D gives us the population of each of those states per probably the 2010 census, whatever I pulled these numbers down from. I'm thinking, Matthias, I'm thinking, based on these numbers. Okay? Okay, everybody. I want you to look at column E. And then let's take about a minute, look at column E, and see if you can figure out what I did in column E. If it helps, and it might not help, it's okay if it does or doesn't. If it helps, you can actually click inside any of the cells in column E.
You divide by this population divided by
Yes,
it
divided.
literally says it right there.
Thank you for reading the spreadsheet. For reading the spreadsheet. This means you're the 99th percentile among Americans. Most of you don't read. I appreciate this, Nikki. Thank you.
I'm gonna computer across this. Getting taught all this stuff.
Okay, so what this is asking you to do is it's doing the same thing you did for Oregon, but it's doing it for all the states. It's taking the population of each state and dividing it by how many electoral votes the state has. So now what I want you to do is to answer numbers 11 and 12. Which state has the least number of people per electoral vote? And which state has the greatest number of people per electoral vote? Which one has the greatest number? Wait, say it again.
I saw 6. I saw 6, 7. I saw 7, 13.
Right. Yeah. No. What I'm saying is, look at this column. Which state has the least number of people per electoral vote? Yeah, lots of states have 3, but that's not my question. My question is, if you unit it out per one electoral vote, which state has the smallest number of people per electoral vote? I think it's Wyoming. I forget which one the biggest one is. I saw 733 down there. Is that it?
That's Texas.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
So let's look at this. If you're scrolling through the values, you can kind of look for the smallest and biggest numbers. Alaska's got 247,200. That's pretty small.
Not.
Vermont.
Oh, but look at this one smaller. DC is actually smaller, 227.
Bottom of the list.
Bottom of the list.
Because it has one.
Vermont. Vermont.
Oh, son of a bitch, Wyoming.
Oh,
There we go.
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Yep.
Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Thank you. Woo.
Vermont.
Wyoming has the least number of people. Compare that to Oregon. We're going to do it again in a second. Remember how Oregon was about 600,000 people. Wyoming's about 200,000. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that. Which state has the greatest?
Texas.
Texas. There it is. 733,226. Thank you. Thank you very much. Matthias, you buying this? Amber, you buying this? It's making sense. Good. Thank you, my friends. Ellie, please.
We're just supposed to write the state's name, right?
That's it. Just write the state's name. That's all.
Are we doing this next?
I don't know. Let me look at it. I think you can do this
Oh my god, why are you screaming?
because I'm so excited right now. Try 13, 14, 15, and 16, and then we'll regroup. And then we're probably going to have to call it a day after that. And maybe have to call it a day before that. We're going to finish this lab on Thursday.
So we should bring our computer.
If you have a computer that you want to bring on Thursday, please bring it. Here's my plan. Actually, you know what? Actually, let's just stop right now because we're not going to get through this in 5 minutes. Let's take a pause. Here's my plan. I'm going to give you a homework assignment for next class. It's going to involve you measuring a fishing net. So we're going to stop a little bit early so you can actually take that measurement. Bring your labs back with you for Thursday, and we'll finish that lab. One for each of you, my friends. You got it. And here we go. One for each of you. I call this the Herbie homework. This is the Herbie homework. Not Herbie. Jesus, Herbie. Herbie. Herbie homework. That's pretty damn funny,
You only get one.
That's pretty goddamn funny. Herbie. Herbie is a trout. Herbie's a trout in the Anna River. Yeah, I think you got this one. Herbie is a trout that I caught so many years ago. You are going to figure out, based on this picture, how much Herbie weighs. You're going to figure out, based on this picture, how much Herbie weighs. Now, we're going to stop class a little bit early so you can... Oh, leave them there, Nick. I'll take care of all that. You are so awesome. Thank you. Leave your computers at your desk because my next class has to use them anyway, okay? So just leave them there. I appreciate you all very much for doing that. I just want to make sure you understand what you have to do this. You have to, first of all, figure out about how big Herbie is. The problem is, I wanted to get him back in the river so bad, I forgot to measure his length before I put him back in. So, I brought the fishing net that I landed him with, right here, and I brought a ruler. Your job is to come up here, figure out where he is on that net, and figure out how big you think he is based on those measurements.
24 inches long.
Okay?
Is that it?
That's it. And then once you have those measurements, you can do the back page of the homework. Oh! Just Larry doesn't start Bogart. Oh, good. You already won it. That's good. That's good. All right, Jessica, we'll get this to you. And if you can't get it exact, remember, go between. between blah and blah. $17, $18 maybe? Yeah, call it, say 17, 18. He was fun. You say you have not or have fished the Anna?
I'm not.
It's fun, dude. It's,
Yeah.
it's super tricky. It's
gotta
like
go.
access is a pain in the ass. Well, it's not, it's on public property, but the walking, it's, all the banks are like this, and they're super loose.
Gotcha.
So getting to casting, like for him, I was casting down into a pool. I was above him by about 20 feet.
No way.
And I could see him rising, so I was chucking this bait fish down and then stripping it back across the current. He just came out of, they're super aggressive fish, which is fun. Oh dude, it's a blast. Yeah.
17 and a half inch fish, 18 inch fish, that's pretty impressive.
Tons of fish in that river, and they're super. They hit. I used 0x tippet down there. They hit so hard. What? I was fishing with 5x because I heard stories about how picky these fish were.
No
so I'm
way.
fishing these little tiny dries, and they hit so hard they're blowing my flies off, and I'm like, so I kept stepping up to 4x. 3x, and I'm like, Jesus, these fish are about great. I got this fish with steelhead tippet, and big ass green streamers.
They're really fighting there, man.
Seriously, and they jump and they dive. They're super fun fish. Yeah.
I need to go.
It's
I
super
gotta
fun.
go.
You'll get a kick out of it. Totally different style of fishing than the fall.
Hell yeah.
Super fun. I think you'll enjoy it. Hell yeah, baby.